You know what is open source? I need to rename that to the go button. Just go, baby, go. See if we can get these dials worked out.
We're live.
Oh no, why are we live? Boop. It's a horrible idea. We shouldn't be doing this. This is Wednesday. We should do what normal people do on Wednesdays. Let's dread the rest of the week. Hey, how about we dread the rest of the week with you? Sounds like a plan. Something we can do for you. What's going on, beautiful people?
Hi, everyone.
It's Wednesday.
Yay! I'm so happy it's Wednesday.
We just spent 30 minutes convincing Pedro to spend money. It's good times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Pedro, I wish I could send... I wish I... You know, Pedro, if I come across another one at school, I could actually send you one.
Okay.
Because I do get them free.
All right. Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
I'll pay for the shipping. That's not going to be cheap.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd ship it to you. Yeah, but I do sometimes, you know, we refresh every few years, so...
Yeah. Just make sure you ask this time, Jill. Like, where'd the cameras go?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, and what was awesome is the Canon EOS I got last time. It had hardly been used. The teacher of that particular class never used it much in class. It was like pristine condition, and it was like $1,500 camera.
Oh, hi, Arthur.
Arthur, yay!
Cameras,
and Patrick.
Mir. Cameras.
All the cameras.
Yeah. High-end XLR cameras.
Yeah, I've had a DSLR in my Amazon wishlist for over a year now, and it's just, yeah, I don't need it right now, so I'm just gonna let it sit there for a little bit longer.
Well, I mean, it's always good to have that. It's sometimes a reminder to buy list.
Yeah. Hi, Jelly Bean!
It's when I'm just browsing Amazon and it's like, oh, I like that wish list. Oh, I like that wish list. And then a couple of weeks later, why did I have that? Oh, God.
Oh, cool. Artherin got the job. Congratulations, Artherin.
Oh,
Awesome.
kudos, Arthur.
Yeah. And hi, Orn. Good to see you.
Yeah, Mir, if it works, it's in good shape. Yeah, no, I'll totally spend for the shipping.
Yeah, Patrick.
Works. Good shape. Not taped up. Works on Tuesdays. Maybe hold it this way particularly.
Hi, S. Michelle. Linux Chicks LA. Yeah, today I got my Firefox mug.
See, Jill doesn't give me any warning. She just expects me to... Like,
No.
that looks more like a GitHub mug. Or wait.
Yeah, it does. GitLab.
GitLab,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, it does now. Yeah. So cute. Yay!
Did you see the thing, on GitHub, the DXVK repo got nuked for like 24 hours?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they shut it down. And the developer is like, this isn't a Microsoft thing. This just kind of happens. It was clearly a mistake. It's like, man, that's just signs of what's to come. I'm being...
Like, can you move to GitLab like yesterday, please?
Right.
People will have to update the URLs on their build bots, but that's fine. DX11 and DX10 for all those Windows Vista games. I remember how I was in university at the time. It took a whole of a month before someone had ripped out the installer and made a Windows XP compatible version. It's like, oh look, DX10 on Windows XP. There you go.
Aw, yeah, Artherin. And Orn, yes, that definitely is a M Foxdog mug. I made sure he saw it the last time I was using it on LWW. Foxy, foxy, foxy.
Oh, yeah, my pajama pants ripped, and Nori was like, you need new pajama pants, and I went on Amazon, it's like, oh, look, 2 pajama pants for like £8, okay. So I went through my wish list, what else is cheap that I can buy, so I bought a knife.
Oh, cool.
My pocket knife has been broken for a long, long time, so yeah, there you go. Pocket knife.
Nice. Oh, that's, yeah, awesome.
Yeah. It was the Amazon choice for pocket knives, so.
That one's nice and big.
It's got a 6-centimeter blade, because, you know, legal reasons here in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 6-centimeter blade, Arthurian. Don't eat it.
Man, it's difficult enough to get silverware in the UK at this point, so I'm not joking.
Yeah, no, Nori was home when they made the delivery. It's like, how old are you? Why? Because one of the packages is age gated. Ah.
You should have answered the door in pigtails.
Hey, Van, have you ever put your hair in pigtails? You got long enough hair.
Of course it's been in pigtails.
Yeah. No, I figured for...
Kidding, I'm not smart enough to know how to do it, but yes, it has been done to me. It's like, oh, isn't that adorable? Like, I don't care. I'm like the old cat that gives it 0 Fs. It's like, whatever. Are you done being amused? All right.
Yeah, I've had Nori braid most of my hair. One big braid, lots of teeny tiny braids. Okay. Are we done? Can I undo them now? Oh, but you look so good. No. You sent me some pictures, Mirror. That you did. Ooh. Alright, okay.
Hey, Chipsy! How are you doing, Chipsy?
28 millimeter lens. Okay, alright.
But yeah, Then have you ever had Pippi Longstocking pigtails?
I would have to Google what that is.
Oh, okay. I grew up with Pippi Longstocking, Swedish, Swedish orphan. Well, she had a father you didn't see that often.
Ohio Linux Fest, that's a thing.
Jack!
Welcome back to internet in the 1990s.
Yeah, I love Pippi Longstocking, Arthurian. Those were some of my favorite movies, and I even have the ones that were the Swedish versions translated. I am Pippi Longstocking.
Yeah, no need for the Patreon goal on that one, Orn. I'm gonna go bald soon enough.
Save your hair, then we can tape it back on.
Uh-huh.
Hot glue, man. Come on.
Yeah, no, Nari keeps asking me, you want to cut your hair? You want to cut your hair? Like, no, it's never gonna grow this long again.
Aww.
I don't know. I'm debating on getting mine cut like above my shoulders for the first time in, I don't know, 30 years.
Yeah.
Because I don't do anything but just put it up and like looped up behind my head. And it's like, at some point, you're going to realize it'll be more efficient just to like cut it. Because I don't have it to like, hey, look, I have long hair for reasons.
I'll alternate some. Most of the time I'll have a ponytail, but I do like just letting it.
I never do that. I can't stand it. It gets in my face. That means it usually gets burnt.
I've had short hair pretty much my whole life, but I actually, when Steve met me, I was growing a tail on the back. I just, was just growing a little strip. It was
all right, so we could use like I'm guessing 83, 84s when the mullets were hot.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. And
So, Steve, I think for some reason we need a picture of Jill with a mullet. Just saying.
it was a very progressive rock and electronic music thing to do. So, and I was
also a
unique. I was
Yes.
unique because I was a girl doing it. And yes, Patrick, no, I am a Jill Linux girl and not a Pippi Longstocking.
Yeah. Yesterday, Steam celebrated its 15-year anniversary.
Yeah, I saw that.
15 years of
September
Steam.
11th.
Yeah.
I didn't get a Steam account until 2005.
I got one, a year before it came out, for whatever year Skyrim
Yeah.
came out. So maybe
2011.
2011. Yeah.
Because I remember because it came out on 11/11/11.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the very few games I pre-ordered. But I pre-ordered it like 2 hours before it came out in Portugal. So then I sat and I waited. It's like, oh, look, it's midnight. Let's install the game. And I spent the rest of that weekend playing it nonstop.
I knew I was going to be playing it online, so I ordered the physical copy of it. And by the time the physical copy got to me, it's like, oh, you need to install an update in order for everything to work. Okay, and they tied it to Steam. The original version of Skyrim didn't require Steam.
It's better to have Steam because I remember the original version of Fallout 3 required games for Windows Live. Talk about cancer game clients? There you go.
Come on, Microsoft. It's Microsoft. They don't give up. I mean, unless it's a
course
mobile
not.
device. They're gonna,
Now they just changed the name. Now it's called the Universal Windows Platform, and it's embedded in the Windows Store.
Oh, I had an interesting experience. It was on our reverse engineering, and some guy was going on about it. He's like, I've been on Reddit. I've seen it all. I'm on the 10-year club. Finally got to go. Oh, so you're new here? I got an 11 club badge. All right. Seems like we are stabilized. And almost ready for a show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay. Oh, big one.
Oh yeah, and Kolsta, if you're watching, I did get a chance to try Skyrim earlier today on the Steam box. It holds 60. Even with the high-resolution patch and a couple of extra high-resolution mods, yeah, it holds 60.
Better. I mean, if you built that and it's like, oh, no, 6-year-old games, kick it. Bye.
That's so interesting about Talos Principle not running as well in Vulkan on the APU on the new version. Because on
I
my
have
old,
no idea.
yeah, because on my Republic of Gamers laptop, it actually has a more powerful AMD GPU in it, but it will play the Vulkan games much faster.
Yeah,
too.
what I noticed is that if you're just using the regular Mesa Vulkan drivers with, say, a Radeon SI or an R600 card,
yeah,
well, Radeon SI, the R600s don't support it, it works great. The RAD-V driver for AMD GPU, there's something there. I'm not entirely sure what, but there's something there.
yeah.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do a show. Pause.
Sounded very Moonspellish.
I don't know. Let's get that set. Boom, boom, boom. So, Jill, are you starting?
Yes, I guess so.
All right. All right, let's give this a shot. Record and record. Ah, man. All right, forgot that. Old school.
You missed.
Okay.
I made a sound, Pedro. It showed up on the VU meter. We're good. It's for ballparking purposes anyway. All right. Good. Okay. Let's do it. Coming at you live in 3, 2.
The eLive Linux distro is alive after 8 years of hibernation, and it still supports older hardware. Our favorite image editor, GIMP, receives a $1,000 donation.
$1,000?
And guess who?
All right, take 2.
Sorry.
And we had a Jill mess up before.
Wasn't going to leave that. Sorry. In 3, 2.
The eLive Linux distro is alive after 8 years of hibernation, and it still supports older hardware. Our favorite image editor, GIMP, receives a $100,000 donation. And guess who is spreading the love?
GNOME! And they push out version 3.30, which, after 30 releases, I wonder if this is the good one. And Solus is moving. They've completely revamped their entire infrastructure in the process.
And Jupiter Broadcasting is joining the Linux Academy. Nothing but good. It's going to come from that and BIOS. Now, it's not the 90s anymore. It's readying for a new release. I personally think someone should write a haiku about it. But it's another great day for Linux, everyone. So let's go. 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, and talk about some of the fun things we found going on in the world of open source. I'm Vince Stone, that is Jill Bright, and over there, that is one Pedro Mateus.
Hello.
So,
Hello.
What's been going on? Pedro's not been doing anything. If anyone didn't watch that video he made yesterday, that wasn't him.
Aw, it was awesome.
Yeah, no.
We hired a body double. Just a hand model, man. It was very expensive.
It's it's probably hard to find someone with my particular hand configuration. But yeah, no, it's yesterday. Some of you may have seen the stream where I talked about the Steam box. Don't worry, there'll be a teeny tiny accompanying article very, very soon. It'll have all the pictures and all the benchmarks as usual, so stay tuned.
What's up, Jill?
Oh, well, I had fun again at Monday at Community Hack Night at Riot Games, and the Linux Chicks LA are getting ready for our next meetup, which is learning how to use Git. So I'm looking forward to that. And I also started my fall semester Monday teaching computer animation, and many of my students will be learning Blender, so I'm very excited about that.
Nice.
Awesome.
Not a whole lot going on over here. I had a short-lived company from yesterday until this morning. Stone Acoustics Incorporated. Soundproofing the studio. That was the thing. Stuck that together, and I'm done with that. That's a nightmare. I have insulation, little foamy bits all over the house, and I don't think they're going away anytime soon, which is really irritating, but we'll deal with that. So let's jump right into it with Jupiter Broadcasting. This was earlier this morning. Came out at the Linux Academy blog. Yeah, man, they said, hey, we're so excited to announce that we're joining the Linux Academy team. Linux Academy and Jupiter Broadcasting share a mission to inspire people to follow their passion, learn, explore, and achieve their goals by acquiring new knowledge. This is pretty cool, and I just always wanted to give them a shout out because you followed the history, you got to know that we wouldn't be here in this capacity. Linux Gamecast as itself wouldn't even exist without Jupiter Broadcasting, because way back in the day, like once a year, they would do a gaming show, a gaming edition, and I used to watch that. I watched it for a year, like a second year. And by the third year, I was like, you know what, I'd do it better. I love you, Chris. I'm just joking, kind of. They do say we will be supporting other open source content creators and developers in the mission to create new programs and content and help grow their communities. And to that, I just say good on them. I think this is a good match, Jill.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Good for you, Chris Fisher. Linux Academy has been one of Jupiter Broadcasting's sponsors for years. And this makes sense because they both have the same mission of sharing knowledge to the open source community. So it really, really makes sense. And this is one of the reasons why we've seen Chris going to Texas a lot, because that's where Linux Academy is based. And the CEO and creator of Linux Academy, Anthony James, is a wonderful person to work with and passionate about Linux, open source, and diversity. And he actually sponsors the Linux Chicks of LA and has provided support for our meetups and events. And
nice.
He's really, I'm the one who talks with them and collaborates with them on our events. And he is just so wonderful and so passionate about open source. And so is Chris Fisher. And this is just a really nice fit.
And that's good, for Jupiter Broadcasting. They've been around for a while. And if they have the extra time and money required to help the Linux Academy in actually teaching things to people out there, honestly, I wouldn't have the patience, but good on you, Chris. Good on you.
100%.
Yeah.
Nothing but good news coming from that. And they're also talking about open sourcing the workflows that they've put together, which is very interesting. And just keep your eye on it. Bunch of cool stuff is probably going to be coming out of that camp. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's everyone's favorite time. We're going to talk about GNOME news, and we're going to make Pedro read it.
Yes. So, GNOME is putting out the new version, GNOME 330 Almedia. And with this, it's the accent gave it away. This particular version comes with significant improved desktop performance, yes, including being able to run more apps at once without encountering performance issues. Welcome back to 1992, GNOME. How are the 90s treating you? They've improved screen sharing. That one is actually interesting. They've focused on the content. They made a teeny tiny little web browser that just gives you more of the browsing and less of the toolbars and whatnots that you get with your Chromes and your Firefoxes. But it still has that massive bar that GNOME is known for, so you'll have to contend with that. They have improved game support. They have a podcasts app, which honestly, of all the podcasts that they picked for that screenshot, I think I listened to 2 of them. It's Late Night Linux and Ubuntu podcast. It's like, oh, the others are things too. Neat.
Does your issues with GNOME stem far enough to be like, oh, they don't just list all the podcasts I listen to, therefore X?
Well, they could have listed a certain Wednesday podcast that covers regular Linuxy news.
Listen, we got to stay underground, man. I don't want that kind of hate. Jill, since you're not blinded by hatred, do you have some good things to say about GNOME?
Yes, and as the developer of the GNOME user interface had written us several months ago that they were working on the patches to fix the memory garbage collection issue, and in this release they have, and I'm looking forward to testing it and seeing the improved speed, and it's using fewer resources, and you can run more apps simultaneously, like Pedro was saying. Welcome to 1992. Yes. So lots of good new features are coming to GNOME, and it's much needed.
I think one of the things I saw that was kind of interesting is the GNOME Software Manager can now automatically update installed Flatpaks. I mean, that's the thing. It'll do it in just a snap. See what it did.
Nice.
Okay.
But I'm actually kind of curious, because if they claim that the performance improvements are in fact that good, when it hits the Fedora repos, I will definitely take it out for a fair shake.
Mm-hmm. I won't.
Yes.
I don't have any. Well, you use KDE, so KDE and GNOME are the same thing anyway. We look forward to your feedback next week. Let's talk about GNOME. GIMP time.
Yeah. So this is GIMP. The GNOME Foundation is spreading the love, and after receiving a $400,000 donation from Handshake.org, sends a $100,000 donation to our favorite image editor, GIMP. And this is really, really wonderful. And kudos to GNOME again for sharing the love. And the GIMP is going to be using this to help upgrade their hardware and run some hackfests and get more people involved in the GIMP. So it's wonderful all around.
Do you think we could
Yay.
get it set up to where it would be able to, where we could draw a circle in GIMP in less than 3 steps?
Yes. Well, I already can do that with the shortcuts, but
No, you can. You got to draw a circle, line to trace, paint tool, then paint lines.
Yeah. Well,
you can shortcut it all you want. You're still doing 3 steps.
Well, that is true. That is true. Yes, Ben. I can do it quickly though.
That is my favorite thing to pick on GIMP. I've been picking on it for years, so I know this.
I know.
No, absolutely good on them. $100,000, and especially with the GNOME Foundation handing that bit over, because you're like, but it's only $100,000 can go a long way in the right hands, and we all use GIMP. It's the Microsoft Paint of Linux. So,
Yep.
except it's functional and you can do more than, I don't know. I don't think I've
Use
ever
the paintbrush, yeah.
possibly.
But yeah, no, it's GNOME again doing something sensible. But what is going on? What happened?
See, I know what you're really, really worried about, Pedro. You're worried that GNOME's starting to get all this stuff and it's getting lined up, it's getting good, and you're going to run out of. There's going to be another thing in your life you're not going to have unjustified hate for. And that worries you. That keeps you up at night, doesn't it?
I like hating things, okay?
Especially himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Mastodon. It's still a thing. Hey, they're talking about just some updates. They say this is 2.5. It's the 100th released version of Mastodon since the project's inception. That's almost 2 years ago. I didn't realize it had been that long. But the big thing here, they make more pretty. There's more pretty. My words. Better moderation tools if you're running your own instance. Improved database scheme to reduce your disk read operations. So that's cool. What do I say? I've never tried it, so I'm hesitant to say anything negative or positive about it. I like the idea. I like decentralization, federated, but I just never appealed to me, question mark. Somebody sell me on it.
Yeah, it's, I think, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Strider at one point that was trying to get everyone on Mastodon.
Yeah.
And it's another place that I have to set up an account for and check on the regular. Yeah, I already check Twitter and Google+. That's good enough for me, right?
Yeah. I've been having a hard time because I really want to get into it, but yeah, like Pedro said, it's another social networking, and we're already so busy on Twitter and Google Pluses and all the other social networks here at LGC. So it's trying another one. Yeah, I will. I should create an account and actually play with it because I know it is well loved in the community.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to be said about having the bandwidth to actively participate in something like that. But it's stuck around. It's been 2 years. That's the thing. Unlike, you know, like Peach. Anyone remember Peach? That was hot for, what, 73 hours total? And, Oh, yeah. And they did improve their CLI interface. And that's one thing a lot of Linux users love about it is that you can use it in your terminal, which is really awesome.
So what you're saying is a bunch of Linux users are a bunch of hipsters.
Yes. and yes, you can even import custom emojis in it now through the terminal. So I guess that's important to some people. So.
Well, I'm not going to say anything about that one because I run Solus, and Solus has emojis when you run an update. So
yeah.
That's because Ike's fabulous. Quit picking on him. Hey, man, let's get our tinfoil hats out and adjust them.
Yes. Yes. So Onion Router 8.0. Yes, the Tor browser 8.0 is now available and is the first stable release based on Firefox 60 extended support release. And this actually worked really beautifully. When I launched it, my older version of the Tor browser, it automatically updated, which was really, really nice. It used to be you had to had to go and download the new version and delete your old one. But now it auto updates, and web pages, I've noticed, load much faster, and it has a much cleaner UI, a lot like, of course, Firefox 60. And one of the big changes in this version is it loads now with an about page with a nice introduction and tutorials on how to use its unique security features. And this is good for both newbies and experts alike. And
it's not yellow.
Yeah.
It's not that really burned shade of yellow.
Yeah. And I was also impressed that the circuit display detailing its VPN virtual private network IP paths loads much quicker now and is easier to read. Sometimes it take like 30 seconds to load before when you were looking at all the paths the browser was going. And now it's instantaneous. It's really great.
Yeah, they do say that WebGL is broken, and I'm not entirely sure that wasn't on purpose, because WebGL is prone to leaking stuff like IP addresses and DNS requests, so it's probably a deliberate thing until they can fix that. And also, it's the Tor browser. What exactly are you going to be using WebGL in the Tor browser for?
Yeah, exactly.
Browsing Microsoft sites. I don't know. I played with Tor to see that it works. And it's like, that's neat. That does not fit any possible use case. Plus, but I understand people wanting to protect your privacy. Me, I'm just like, take it.
Yeah.
Don't care. That's the
I have private internet access VPN. I pay for that, so yeah.
You pay for that.
every time I even think, I mean, yes, like most sane people, I subscribe to VPN, and every time I think about firing that up, hey, look, October's almost here. Speaking of firing up VPNs, reasons. Outside of that, I'm like, wait, this has to go through my ISP anyway, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
They know you're into VPN.
Yes.
So.
Tor exit nodes compromised. Tinfoil hats. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. Good work on them. Good work on them. Let's talk about something that is absolutely insane.
Oh, yes.
Genuinely, I mean, I knew it wasn't April 1st, but I was like, man, is this the Onion or what? No, it's not. This is Computer World. All of this is going to be in our show notes. But the beta release for BOS, I'm not kidding, inspired by open source. After more than 17 years of work, the first beta release of Haiku R1 is at hand, and it looks so...
It looks very BIOS-y.
90s.
Yes.
I just
Very
remembered
Windows
this.
95.
Well, kind of
Not
just...
even Windows 95. It's like a 311 because it has like the centralized thing that you can't get rid of. It's like,
That's true, yeah.
oh.
thought they had some screenshots in here, and they don't. Boo. I'm down with this. I can see this because I absolutely remember tinkering with BIOS like in the late 90s, thinking it's like, oh man, this is a great time to be alive. Not only do I have like one, but I have two viable alternatives to this Windows stink. And they were both actively being developed at that time. I think even BIOS like stayed in recent like development, like up to 2002. A couple of new things in this. They've added support for those newfangled 64-bit CPUs. They have support for this moon technology for if you have more than 8 CPU cores, which, come on, think about it. 99, 2000, you're like, how many addressable cores do you have? 8? And it's like, you're funny. That's cute.
2.
USB 3. Well, even 2. Be like, that, really? Because Athlon MPs, baby. USB 3 support, SATA support, and support for, this is my favorite part, more than 1 gigabyte of RAM.
Yes.
Because that doesn't seem incredibly anemic in 2018. You're like, what? Can you even get something to boot? You're like, what has a gig of RAM? I don't know, Raspberry Pi. They've even added support for package manager, a package manager. So technically they beat Microsoft on that one. A bit worried that they aren't, because they make a note that they're going to be like, hey, we're working on getting CDs printed to send it. It's like, I don't know about that. Because then again, I mean, this is 2018 and vinyl's the new hotness, kids. And also about as useful as a CD-ROM as an installation medium in 2018.
To be fair, considering, Haiku has those low requirements and it runs on far less than 1 gigabyte of RAM. In fact, if you load it up on a VM and you have a look at how much RAM it's actually using, it uses about 80. That's it.
Yeah.
You can open up a browser and maybe get it to use 100. So yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't need all those much resources, but it's kind of insane that it's gotten this much support and this much development to the point where even LibreOffice and the Mesa drivers are working. So if you have a laptop kicking around that you can use, definitely give this a spin, because I certainly will.
Yeah, this is actually, as Ben was saying, really, really awesome. Yeah, BOS was the hotness back in the day. You had Windows 95 and you had Geos, the other OS that I used to love. And so, but yeah, they also actually not only have updated it to work on, of course, modern hardware, but they need people to contribute to the project. And in fact, they've been every few years they show up at scale and are looking for people to contribute to their project. And it's just really cool. It's nice to have another OS that isn't, necessarily Linux, out there in the world, and gaining momentum. So
Yeah.
awesome.
And Linux has too many games to be productive now, so
Yeah.
I know.
need something else.
Finally be able to get off Solaris, man. BSD, man. Too much compatibility with Linux games. Can't use that anymore either. Ubuntu. Development update September 2018. This is a thing. It's basically their theme for Ubuntu in August and early September has been visual improvements. A few bug fixes tossed in for good measure. Something you might want to check out. For me, it was like, ooh, look, a gang of XFCE updates, hashtag squee. I was very happy about that. We've seen some updates to XFCE Session Manager, Screen Shooter, App Finder, all received updates, and they're actually actively working on trying to make it more pretty. It angers and confuses me that people want XFCE to be pretty. I don't get it. Another one of the things is they've updated the icons for something they call the Shimmer Project. Again, I'm just going to monochrome that stuff because I hate pretty things. Good to look at, good to see, and I think I can speak for everyone in my camp. Where 414.
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to try it, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll just install it when I get home. Oh no, wait, no, I won't, because Solus doesn't have XFCE or LXD in the repo, so it's oh. Well, I'll just bring out one of the laptops. There we go. It's working. Cool.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, no, it's XFCE. It's exactly what you'd expect it to be, and the visual improvements are nice. But yeah, I have to agree with Ben, I guess, because that's not what XFCE is there for. It's there for something that works. Doesn't necessarily have to be pretty. You can make it pretty. There's a bunch of themes for it out there already, but
Yeah, it's not necessary, but because it just works, and it works really, really well. And in fact, one of the improvements they're going to make is they're going to have a new display profiles menu in the display settings panels, which will allow you to save and switch between various display setups. And this is something I've been waiting for a long time. I'd even written years ago about this to NVIDIA about this and in their NVIDIA settings, because I am constantly changing my monitor layouts from switching to podcasting to creating and rendering animation to 3-monitor gaming. And I often change the positions of my screens. And this will be nice because it'll be simple as one click instead of spending a lot of time configuring. And I know Ven does this all the time too. So this has been a feature I've been really excited about.
What do I spend a lot of time doing? I was adjusting audio.
Switching your display setups for different purposes.
Yeah, but I use the NVIDIA control panel like a sane person.
Yeah,
because nowadays that actually works.
Yeah. And that's mostly what I'm using. But it's nice to have this option. And the other reason is nice to have this option is because this supports AMD Radeon. So you can, you don't have...
It is something that does need work, though, because I set up on these two boxes. Thanks, Michael. They have the Intel integrated graphics, and I'm not going to lie to you. XFCE's like built-in session thing to set that up is dog poo. It's functional. You can do like 1 to 2 things. You better like your 2 options because that's all you get.
Yeah.
So, cool. Tell me about it.
Oh, because there aren't enough music players on Linux.
Nope.
Now we have another one, the Open Music Player. And looking at that UI, I find myself asking, what's wrong with OpenBox? Well, there's a lot wrong with OpenBox, but with Rhythmbox, but I think it does the same thing, but this is very much pre-alpha, as they say, and so the basic functionality is all you're getting. So basically, right now, you get Rhythmbox. They say they will improve that as time goes on, and of course they have a little Patreon campaign that you can help if you decide that, yes, you want a music player that isn't Rhythmbox, or you don't use VLC like a sane person, or really any of the other thousands currently available on Linux.
Well, I mean, come on. At the end of the day, man, everything after XMMS is like, hey, look, it duplicates XMMS. In your world, we would still be doing that, right?
XMMS is perfectly functional, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's perfectly functional, but there's nothing wrong with the options, right?
Yeah, the options are great. It's just, it's got to do something, and I guess I'm still waiting for the something on this one because it doesn't have it.
Well, one of the things OMP does is it works on Arch, Pedro. It does.
Yes.
It says it's currently only tested as working on Arch Linux.
Yeah.
But, in fact, has been used on Ubuntu by at least
two people.
This is in the release notes, by at least 2 users.
Yeah.
So, good luck with that, and more power to you. Something a lot of people use, even though, see, Pedro, here's another distribution, man. Why don't you use one of the existing distributions? What's the difference?
By all means, create a new distribution if it, does something different. Or if you're insane enough to actually try to build it from scratch, like the fine folks at Solus. Started, of course, with Ike as a Debian spin back all the way back in the day, but now it's its own thing, built completely from the ground up, and with their increase in demand, and it is, as a distro, Solus has been growing considerably, so they've decided to upgrade their infrastructure, and they're doing that by basically getting themselves a really nice server with 4 Optron processors to a total of, 32 cores? Yeah, 32 cores and 128 gigs of RAM, 6 terabytes of disk space, so they can get a lot more done with that. And with this, they're also moving the project from Solus project whatever it was, to getsol.us. So they have a neater, tinier URL, and it's actually much easier. Yeah, just go to get Solus. There you go.
You know, here's the thing. You missed the chance. You could have got sol.man. I'm just saying. Joe, what are your thoughts on
Yeah, and I like the fact that the new ISOs from the new repo URLs, the new is Solus 3.9999. They added a 9 on the end.
Even when it does handstands.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they just keep on tacking 9s. Hopefully, with the improved infrastructure, they can tack another 9 on the end.
All right, check it out. All about Pentiums.
Yep.
Yes, so I'm very excited about this. eLive is alive after 8 years of hibernation of a stable release. I was really, really excited about this. It's based on Debian 8 Jessie, Linux kernel 3.16, and Enlightenment 0.17.6. And actually, this is still one of my favorite distros of all time, and I have installed it on many of my, quote, vintage computers. I know, Ven, they're old computers, but I have vintage ones, too.
Listen, I feel like it's a bit of a public service. This is something we need to address as a society as whole, is slapping that vintage sticker on it. We were talking before we went live. It's like, I see some people, the same goes for retro. It's like, yes, retro gaming on my YouTube channel this evening with a Wii U. It's like, really, kids? I'm just going to ballpark this. Feel free to disagree with me, as most people do, because it's the right thing to do. I'm going to say 20 years before present day is then that's scraping vintage, maybe.
Yes.
To me personally, it needs to be 100% polyester clothing and bell bottoms.
Oh, yes. Well, I do have it installed on one of my 486s, so that does count as vintage.
Yeah, it's they say it was one of those distros that I never tried because they used to have like the please donate button before you could download it. Now they still have the button, but they give you some options. They have the please donate and you'll get the download link right away. You can just download the torrent. That is also
wait a minute. Is there an option to get like the download link like Tuesday?
There is one that you have to wait for 24 hours. You just submit your email and they will email you the link after 24 hours, which for me specifically, that would get me to forget that I had registered my email to get that link. And once I got it the next day, it's like, what the hell's this? Spam.
Listen, man, it's made for old computers. Maybe it takes a few days to get it booted up. Come on, man.
Well, I am kind of curious, and I might actually throw it at the T42 once I get a little bit of time. So
yes, yeah, and for me, one of the reasons I love eLive is it's a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous implementation of the Enlightenment desktop, which is beautiful, fast, and sleek. And you know, I used to use this as my go-to live CD after Knoppix. So Knoppix and eLive were the two live CDs I used all the time to test my builds. And I actually donated to the project and downloaded the eLive 3.0 ISO. I wanted to support him, and I had many years ago, actually. And it actually worked beautifully. I tested it in a VM with low memory and GPU settings, and it worked beautifully. And it has a lot of really cool enhancements. It has the live boot script for older and newer hardware, and it boots. It actually boots with a nice nice song, which is really cool. And it actually has a hotkey keyboard shortcut menu, which is really cool. But one of the nicest features is when you right-click on the desktop now, you get a nice user-friendly menu with all the apps and utilities installed on eLive, and that was really nice. That's one area of the Enlightenment desktop that needed improvement. So this definitely helped that a lot.
Right on. Here at LWDW, we're a fan of overkill.
Yes, we are. And if downloading a 7.11 gigabyte torrent for a distro that's meant to run on old computers isn't enough for you, well, how about running a terminal emulator on your GPU? Yes. The whole thing, the entire rendering process for this particular Kitty terminal is run on the GPU. Yeah, it's basically, what if Terminator had a really big thing about NVIDIA cards and decided to just hardware accelerate all the things? And it's what it does. They claim that it starts reasonably fast and everything is much quicker since it offloads everything on the GPU. And if you do have that dedicated GPU on, say, a laptop, it will maybe, hopefully, make things much smoother. Or although I do wonder, I am curious to try what happens once I throw it at, say, a GTX 1080.
Well,
but
here's one of the things I'm thinking about, man. Like 100%. What if you're in a situation to where you don't have enough horsepower and you need to get that terminal window open?
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll do it. It's for me, I like the neat factor. I like the idea, but it's really hard to justify. Unless you really like,
When was the last time me and you ever did anything like, yeah, we need to justify this somehow?
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I built a Steam box inside an Xbox 360, so I don't get to say anything.
Yes. Yeah, and I thought, I think this is actually pretty cool. It is, of course, terminals run are low in resources as it is, but it is nice to put it on your GPU instead. And it's got a really nice layout with a lot of nice key commands as well. I did have issues installing it under Ubuntu 16.04, it installed it on 1804 with no problem, and I installed it on Debian with no problem. So, but there are a lot of, in the forums, there were a lot of issues with people installing it on Ubuntu because of the all the dependencies. There's issues, conflicts. So.
All right. 2 more bits real quick. We do need to give this a mention. Nano 3.0, it's out and it reads files 70% faster because, man, it was slow to begin with. That dog of a program. And it's out. New major release, open source text editor. You might know it. It's the thing you symlink Pico to. That's it. That's the update. Well, that's what. We'll get a couple other things. Key binding changes, speed handling of the ASCII text has been almost doubled. That's neat. Recognizes more escape sequences. Avoids possible hang during full justify. That's some of the new features. That's the thing. Hopefully, I don't know. How are you? When I'm at Nano, I'm not at my lowest. I haven't truly broken anything, but I've usually nerfed X pretty hard.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
or say you're SSH'd in to a machine that doesn't have a keyboard plugged into it.
That's when I start symlinking stuff. I mean, it's like, well, it depends on what access. I mean, because yes, everything should go to Nano, including Vim and Emacs. So.
Yeah.
So much hate mail. So much hate mail.
Just do it. You'll have a good time with it.
Nano is my favorite text editor, but I do love Vim and Vi and Emacs. I've used them all, but it is nice that Nano it loads files 70% faster, so that's always a good thing. The faster the better.
Yeah, nothing like
100%.
Opening a 70 gigabyte text file 70% faster.
Faster? It's really
You
nice.
don't open a 70 gig, man. You throw anything over like 25, 30 megs. Trust me, I've tried this. It's like, I want to be lazy. I don't want to do a SQL command right now, find and replace. I just want to do it in text editor. You're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
So, DDGR, man. That sounds awfully like a law or something.
It isn't. It's actually basically the DuckDuckGo equivalent of Googler, which is something that lets you Google for stuff directly from the terminal. Let's say you're trying to figure out something and you're like me and you're pretty lazy and you don't want to reach for the mouse, so you just type Googler and whatever it is you want to Google and it'll give you the results. So this does the exact same thing for DuckDuckGo. If you are privacy conscious and you don't, or you have an irrational hatred for Google, kind of understand you. I don't get you, but I kind of understand you. It's, you can do the same thing now, just DDGR and whatever search term you would like, and you get the DuckDuckGo results directly from the terminal. Yep.
Yeah, and I thought this was neat, because when you do a search, the results are numeric, and you just you type in the number of the search result you want, and then it automatically launches it in your default web browser, which is cool. It's really fast at searching the internet, so that's really neat, and I actually will use this.
Yeah, this is a long list of things. It's like, yeah, it's neat. I'll never use it because I won't. I'll tell you exactly why. Hey, I need to search something. Watch this. Okay, Google. Hands-free, because I'm doing other stuff. It's the thing. They did add the ability to copy pasta into the terminal with this, and it's going to recognize it. So that's the thing. And I say good on them. Fun project, just not my cup of chainsaw. Hey, let's do some shameless self-promotion. If you like this show, you like what we do, not just this show, like the other 620 things that we keep on doing, we can't help ourselves, and you want to support us, head over to LinuxGamecast.com. We got a bunch of ways. We got affiliate links. You guys are blowing us up with that. Always with the Patreons, too. Get some rewards. Get access to our Discord. We got a wish list. We don't use it as the wish list. It's stuff we're going to buy anyway. But if you want to like become a game genie and help us unlock some stuff real quick, that's possible. Newegg affiliate links. Humble. Everyone ordering through that. We get a cut of that. Plus charity. We got it set where charity gets more than us because we're really bad at business. And crypto, bitcoins, and all that fun stuff. Plus you're going to get your name in the credits. It's awesome. It keeps us ad-free and independent. So we want to thank everyone for that and supporting our nonsense.
Yes. Thank you, chat room. We love you.
The pie map of America.
Pie map of America.
Okay. It is. It's LA is the pie hole.
Yeah. I've been there to the pie hole, yes.
We've all been to the pie hole, Jill, in our own way.
So let's go down a different kind of pie hole this week. And wow. This one is it's interesting. It's not. It doesn't have that wow factor that we've grown used to with some of the Raspberry Pi projects that we've covered here. But stick around. There may yet be more of that. This one is about. Well, Eben Upton wrote a little article saying how he and most of the people in the Raspberry Pi Foundation used to deal with the BBC Micro and other such low-profile home PCs back in the day. So he is now that's an actual full-on tutorial about how you can program your own game.
20 repeat. Oh, jeez. All right.
In this case, in BeebM, which is the BBC Micro emulator. So it's you can. It gives you the code to get the helicopter game up and running, and he also gives you a little test at the end where you can compare your own code that you've written up to that point with the one that he prints down there. So that's it's really good if you are into like old-timey programming, old-timey basic.
No, Pedro, wrong. Retro programming.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I guess it is. BBC Micro was in the 80s, so I guess that
Yes,
fits.
it does count.
Yeah, but it's
yes.
also BBC Micros. Like, if your parents didn't like you enough to get you a ZX Spectrum, or like,
Yeah.
Commodores weren't really popular or available,
Yeah,
or wicked
overseas.
expensive.
My dad
Or
had a
TRS 80,
64.
Trash 80. That was the thing. No. Yeah, there's a bunch of microcomputers that are just junk. But hey, man, you can play with that junk at home with your Raspberry Pi.
Yes.
All right.
And speaking of slightly
Yeah.
less junk,
Yes, this is awesome. This is a DIY do-it-yourself Raspberry Pi Pocket projector project, and the videos. There's 2 videos on here, and they're both excellent. I recommend viewing those. All the links are in the show notes, of course. And what's really cool about this projector is that it uses a mini DLP lens, which is really amazing. You remember when that technology was new and the DLP screens were just a really awesome new technology, and they were competing with plasma televisions at the time. And but it's really nice to have a portable projector on your Pi, and because it's great for doing presentations, and no more need to carry around a large monitor, which is really cool. And you can power it separately, so you don't need to have an outlet nearby, and it's actually low resolution, but it gets the job done, and it's really
Gets
good
the job
for
done.
the job done.
Here's one of the things. I'm actually shocked to see a video demonstration of open source or Linux, and it's not Big Buck Bunny.
Yeah, Big
Yeah.
Buck Bunny. Yeah. Yeah, that was the YouTuber's son he took videos of. That was really cute. And what's awesome, it's only about $120. So that's this is the-
$120
yeah, the cheapest
for
projector
a projector,
you can buy.
yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty neat. Pico
Yeah.
projectors are interesting. They are low light, low resolution, but they're definitely a solution if you need something like that. You're not going to be blowing that up to 100 inches and like, oh, yes, I will make my home theater. With $100 of Raspberry Pi, you will have one of the saddest home theaters known into humanity.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
keep
But
that in
hey,
mind.
720p for a teeny
Yeah.
tiny Raspberry Pi
great.
Zero powered projector, that's pretty good.
I'm not
Yeah.
knocking it. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying
I-
set your expectations
It's
accordingly.
low.
Right.
I actually want to test this at one of our Linux Chicks LA meetings when we do Raspberry Pi installs. So I think this would be perfect to do the tutorials on.
All right. We got a little bit of feedback coming up, Pedro. Tell them how to get
Yes,
hold
we
of us.
do. So if you'd like to submit your own feedback, go to linuxgamecast.com, hit the contact button. There's a little form with a little choosy box at the top. Make sure to pick LWDW, and we'll know that you mean that your message is for this show. Although we could probably glean that from the lack of swear words and whatnot that we usually get on the Saturday show. Well, that's mostly me daydreaming. Please Please, people, just give me something. Come on.
Coming up first, man, this is something I wanted to cross-pollinate between shows because it was just kind of set in general. It's from Inmang. They write, I know the show notes are written up, but they used to show up in the podcast attic. Well, just the podcast RSS feed to summarize here. Now just the summary shows up at the website, and he goes on to say before, not sure if it's the player for what, check Google Podcast, wasn't one. Yeah, we changed that. You see, some of you might know that I installed a new theme on our website, right?
Yeah, that is all you did.
That's it.
Yeah.
And, thank you, Jordan. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of this.
Hey, new theme.
Here's the thing. We cleaned that up when we did that because we used to just dump everything in there, use the kitchen sink. And that was causing some validation errors with some clients, not with Sailfish, as we learned. However, that was a different thing. But I just wanted to tidy it up. Notes are still in the same place. There's nothing wrong with your particular podcatching device of choice. So that's the thing.
Yeah. And up next we have Mr. Louis C. And he has a bit of a history of hate. I get that it's popular nowadays to hate on GNOME, but has it always been this way? Where did it start and why? Wow, that's an existential question right there.
Yeah. Yes.
So I thought it was popular to hate on all the desktop environments.
Yeah.
Basically, especially the ones that disregard community bug reports, community input, community suggestions, etc., and decide to do whatever they want instead. You know, like GNOME, KDE, Enlightenment, and quite a few others. But considering, you know, lately GNOME has actually been doing pretty good. They did have some really stupid and bullheaded decisions for a while there, but now it seems like they're pedal to the metal in reverse and undoing quite a lot of them and actually listening to what the community is saying for once. So I'm kind of curious to see where they're going with that. When it started happening, well, the latest round of hate was when GNOME 2 was end of life, and they started putting out GNOME 3. That was a expletive removed show.
Yes.
It was the internet. It drove a wedge because GNOME at that point, GNOME 2 was the single most widely used EE in all the distros, and GNOME 3 drove a wedge in that community to the point where all the other desktop environments got a lot of share.
Yeah, KDE 4 didn't do the same thing at all. Nope.
Oh yeah, they did. But then again, with KDE, there were people pissed off when they released KDE 3. Then there were people pissed off when they released KDE 4, and to be fair, people are still pissed off with KDE 5 because
like
it's broken.
People hate change.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've never had anything. I've been over on XFCE Island since the Genesis, man. I remember GNOME. GNOME to me is it's like, what is my purpose? It was like, nowadays it's the, let's just even backtrack on that, man. That's one of the reasons I was sad to see, what was Ubuntu's thing called? Unity.
Yeah.
I was sad to see that go because I like competition. I like options. And now they're like, oh, we're just going. It's like, ooh, okay, I don't know how that's going to work out. But, you know, with GNOME or with the Unity, which is GNOME 3 based, Gnomity, whatever they want to call it, the ships with like 1804. The only experience I have with that is, this is the only thing I know how to do in that desktop environment is get to the search bar, open a terminal, and do sudo apt install XFCE4. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's the only time I ever see it. So from an outside perspective, what you were saying with some things, Pedro, absolutely valid. But GNOME's going to GNOME. I don't expect them to change. It's all about simplifying stuff and having a lot of people standing around the product going, if it's that simple and devoid of options, why is it so slow?
Yeah, that is it will be my biggest complaint, unless they really do fix it with 330. It's the performance. Why is it so bad?
It's usable.
Come on.
I mean, it's KDE. Listen, you can take slow or you can take crashy, right?
Yeah, no, KDE is actually pretty fast, but KWin crashes a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Jill, pick a side.
Yeah.
We got to pick teams because.
Oh, Well, I have to say I am looking forward to the new GNOME because years ago, that was the default on all the distros and it ran beautifully and fast. So, that's changed all over the years with the garbage collection issue and whatnot. But I'm really looking forward to this new version because I think they are listening now to the community about the problems that it's had in the
For
past.
the next 2, possibly 3 minutes, at which point they will immediately stop listening to the community and do something completely stupid and bullheaded again.
Listen, it's their project. That's how open source works. Hasn't dealing with Strider taught you anything?
Yeah, I guess that's fair, yeah.
Right. Just like, listen.
No wonder he uses GNOME.
It's open to suggestions. Just keep in mind that most suggestions will be ignored. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So, anyway, we need to bounce out of here. I want to thank everyone again for showing up. We're going to cut on some music and roll some credits. How about that? I can look around and figure out.
Hey.
It's the Chat Realm Appreciation Hour where you get to see all your names.
Yes.
Every single one of you.
Yay.
We made it.
Thank you for all our wonderful Patreons.
Who are we thanking for all of our wonderful patrons? The Flying Spaghetti Monster? That was a unique way to phrase sentence.
No! Thank you to all of our wonderful Patreons and producers and executive producers.
And the fine upsetting
all.
cannibals, yes. Remember, if you do decide to cause Ven physical pain, he will forever remember you in Frank's fine upstanding cannibal wall.
It's died down. There's nothing heavy left to get, man.
Yeah.
Yay! Chat Realm!
We'll see you next week. Keep being you.
Bye.
Bye!
Boom. And we're out.
All right.
Alright, I gotta get that exploded.
Yay!
Yeah, no, it's always great when you know that one of your Amazon gift purchases for someone else has, had an impact on a foot somewhere.
Yes! Yes! Yeah, our parents.
It's an awesome feeling. Arthur, yours, that monitor stand, Arthur picked that up for us. It's kind of awesome. That's what these two yahoos are on.
Yep.
This is, in the new tighter confines with everything condensed in here, that is the candidate for most likely to hit the floor. I've been meaning to buy some neon gaffer's tape to put on the edge of these monitors. I'll get around. Hopefully, I'll get around to it before I go. Well, that happened. So yeah.
Couple of train wheels, not training wheels, train wheels.
Train wheels. I'm gonna grab something to drink. We'll hang out for a couple minutes, and
Okay.
we will bounce out of here.
Yes.
Hi, Steve husband. Yeah, Ven does need a couple of train wheels.
What's that? 30 kilos? Ah, it's fine. Alright. But yeah, no, K-Win, as with the latest version of Plasma, has decided to have a whole new way of crashing. To the point where it brings down the whole Plasma session with it. So, god damn it! Seriously? First, everything freezes for like 30 seconds, and then it comes back, and it's like, oh, we recovered from an error. And then if you just let it sit, it'll freeze again, and it'll stay frozen unless you SSH in and kill it. So, someone at the KDE community needs to do something, because this is getting ridiculous.
Aw, poor Steve Hesman. I can email you the link, so you have it. He doesn't want to sign in at work on YouTube, so that's why he doesn't get the notifications.
Yeah, no, the thing is, it's not even compositing right now. Right now, I have compositing disabled in KWin, and I'm using Compton. It's not the compositing that's crashing, it's the window manager. I like KWin. The advanced window rules and everything else that it lets you do, and if you tell a window, no, you spawn there with these dimensions all the goddamn time, it does. It actually does. It forces the windows to comply. But can you do that without crashing, please?
Oh yeah. No, I know it is, Patrick. Steven just wanted the link to the show. He doesn't even know how to get to the link. Oh, poor Steve has. And then Ven puts out the unedited show pretty quickly, so not a problem. Of LWW, the DVR function not working on the live stream.
It reduces latency.
Yeah, it works. It works nice too. I could tell. Yes, everything happens much quicker, and we get all the chat messages a lot quicker, which is really nice.
Yeah, I'm just going to. That's probably what I'm going to have to do. I'm just going to have to install the Mate desktop in Solus and just go with that. Because I know for a fact that that works!
I don't know, I guess I need to eventually try Mate again.
Yeah, Mate is fun.
It's all GTK 3 now, so...
Yeah.
If you can get stuff working in GNOME, you can get it working in Mate.
Wouldn't know about that first part, buddy. Two things are not installed on this box. GNOME and KDE.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mate and Compiz are nice together, huh? Aren't they?
I might try
True
Mate.
that.
I don't know. I think Martin is angry at me because he was trying to give me an eGPU. And somebody,
yes. Oh yeah. So
somebody who likes another person doesn't try to do that.
Aww. So I'm excited. So Pedro's gonna have a eGPU to review.
Okay, now I guess I do need to send Martin emails like, yo, could you send me that?
Yes. Yeah, Wimpy is going to send that to Pedro because we had talked about it on the news story about the firmware updates. Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
All right, you need to get on eBay and find the oldest, slowest PCI card made. Then we're going to try to run Doom on it with Vulkan.
I actually don't have a laptop with Thunderbolt. Nori's does, but mine doesn't.
Why would you do it on a laptop? Just do it on the desktop.
Yeah.
Oh, orange speed all over, huh?
Yeah. Laptop with the Intel graphics, and you get the external connector. Yeah, I do have to work XPS 13. I guess I could just yank the M.2 SSD in there, put in another one, and...
You could, just like reach over and plug it into your desktop again?
Yes.
Does the Steambox not have USB-C 3.1 on it?
It has 3.1, just not full Thunderbolt.
Well, unless it's an Intel processor, you're not going to get Thunderbolt TM.
Yeah.
Yeah, true that, Free Jack. A 386, especially with a DX 386DX, was even more sweet.
It would run Doom, but your doors would stutter when they opened.
Yeah. That's why it had to run my animation programs. I had to have minimally a 386DX because it needed the math coprocessor.
Doom was fluid, like at 640 by 480, like 486 DX, 22 megahertz, somewhere in there. Would usually chug it out pretty decent.
Yeah.
386, you could play it.
And yes, Mir, I do have a laptop with an express card slot. The T42.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Patrick. I have one in my wish list on Amazon. I need to grab it to test it out.
That's kind of crazy.
Oh, a 386/16. If my brother's out there, he can let us know too about that.
Oh,
Yes.
can you imagine the T42 with a 750 Ti just running externally?
Oh, you don't need it, Patrick, or Mere PPC. I'm sorry, my friend.
It's got to be simpler, Jill. That's why I just address people as human.
Yeah.
Yo, human.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this type of talk is putting Lambo engines in Honda Civics. I mean, if you're that type of person, go for it. Just realize you're being that type of person.
Free Jack, have you tried with Doom? Tried running the Linux port on a 386?
Why?
I think I had done that before, so that's fine.
Yeah, I think the most recent game that the T42 can run is Quake 2.
That's the, yeah, I mean, when Linux came out, I mean, you could find a 386, but not in a store.
Oh, well, I have plenty here. I've got 4 of them.
Yeah. I mean, that's a personal problem, but we don't judge you for it.
My first computer I did animation on, well, besides my Apple II, was the first PC was a 286 that I built.
That was one of my first PCs. My mom gave me a sacrificial 286 because she knew I was just going to tear it apart.
Yeah.
Which I immediately did. I had the thing in absolute non-working condition in like 4 days. Then she showed me how to put it back together.
Let's see.
From like
Yeah, no,
DOS
it wasn't
316
until
or
I
something
was 13, so let's see, 13, 99, yeah. That's when I put my first computer together. It had a Pentium 3 or Pentium 4?
You child.
Yes.
You sweet, innocent babe.
It was like, my dad's like, okay, you want a computer? Then you're going to put it together yourself. It was, that was his thing. Now I realize that was because they didn't have a whole lot of money. So that was.
Well, at least he wasn't a
the way-
dick about it and like handed you like some sand. He was like, you get to.
There you go, you can make silicon out of that.
Oh, look.
Yay.
Jordan wants something.
Jordan! Aw, friend Patrick
Patrick
Meir. Confuse a Patrick, confuse a Mere PPC.
Oh, Strider, look at you. You're just being salty because we're not talking about Amigas. We're talking about Amigas. You'd be like, oh, yes, I love these old crappy Amigas.
Yeah, it was one of the comments that I saw on the Steam box was someone was saying, oh, someone should build something like that, but with an Amiga 1200.
I don't know, man. I mean, Mom had a 4K at one point. It was a tower, I think. I don't know. I didn't get to use it. So, it was one of those, like, don't touch this. That's where I get the idea of sacrificial computers from. I got stuff, just, like, stay away from her work stuff. I think tomorrow we're either going to be doing Preacher or Dorks Must Fry 2. I'm not 100% on which one. We might do Portal 2. If I get enough time to rig the capturing system up for it. Because that has to be done, because that's still a bug in OBS. So you can't play Portal 2. It's just... And every time it's been brought up on the tracker, they're like, well, I don't know, it doesn't seem like a problem. It's like, you can always reproduce this issue. I mean, it just tanks it to like 35, 40 FERPs. Bam.
Smash that bell, fam. Yeah, Boo Love. They're all my family.
Express slot to PCIe. There it is.
Hey,
Yes.
look, dude, that first picture's kind of like Breaking Bad Jesse
Cool.
Porter's edition.
Yes. Aww.
Oh, wire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aluminum Jesse.
Serial murderer. Arthur, that was good, Arthur.
No, he looks like a Firewire murderer, possibly a LTP parallel port murderer. Could be a murderer, you never know.
Oh, Steve Husband did a Portal reference. How nice.
I
Oh,
smacked
yeah.
the microphone arm.
So, Jelly Bean, since you're still in the house listening, what was the oldest computer that you ran Doom on our BBS? We used to, actually, I don't even know if you guys know this, but some of the developers of Doom were on my brother's BBS, and we used to test multiplayer gaming over phone lines.
Yeah, no modem
Doom.
was built in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but we were testing it before it was released.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that wasn't a 286.
Oh no.
And we used to make I remember him making mods and materials for Doom when we'd play the games. And we were testing it. It wasn't released yet to the public.
Whatever, Mr. Alert, I installed it on like 7.286.
Yeah, that's what we were saying before, Jack. At 386, that's what I said. 386 DX, and Free Jack was saying it wouldn't run on a 16 megahertz, but it had to be at least a 20 megahertz DX.
And, yeah, seems legit. And you could run Wolfenstein on
Oh yeah, we were
the
doing that for
386.
Doom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, my brother had one of the most well-known elite BBSs here in the LA area. Hackers only. we used to hear people phone freaking in and stuff. It's pretty cool.
I don't know, I went straight from 286 to a Pentium 70. So it was a bit of a jump.
Yeah.
Just you. Yeah, we used to run PC board. I was his sister operator.
Got it. So you were a nerd back then. Got it. Understood.
Oh yeah.
Steve told me, like, you got hit on the head or something, but I didn't believe it.
Lots and lots of computer parts flying around.
I gotta find a recycling place, man. I got too much PC junk, like legitimate. Like it's gotta go. When I was playing Tetris, moving everything up here, I was like, okay, how do we get to do this? I was like, don't do it like you want to do it, which is like drag everything out into the living room because I have a massive ass living room. Like, if you do that, it'll stay there for a while. But I gotta find a recycling, like legitimate. And it's like, no, we take this and we recycle it. Like what? You ship it to China, melt it down.
Yep. That's what they do here. Oh, but it's recycling. No, it's all going in the same boat to China.
I went from the Pentium 70 to a K5. K6, I don't think they were out yet. Then I had a K6,
Cool.
like 400. Well, it was a 400 because it didn't have the right jumpers for the motherboard I had, so I could get it to run at 400. It was like 300 and something, supposedly. Last known, let's live in the old days.
The olden times.
Digital sanctuary.
Yeah, I mean, hey, more power to it. You know, people who are nostalgic and stuff like that. I lived through that. That's cool. One
Yeah.
trip's enough. It's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, as someone who had to change autoexec bat and config sys, then reboot the computer so Doom would start. Yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks.
You know, you could have just made it like boot disk, right?
At the time, I didn't. There was no internet at the time.
I did have internet, but I knew how to make a damn boot disk. I mean,
I was, what, 6? 7?
are we going to see how far down the excuse hole we can go, or what?
It's like the simple fact that I had like a piece of paper taped to the side of the computer so I would know the commands to run. It's like, okay, do that, do that, do that. Okay, now reboot. There we go.
I don't know, man. I would be texting. You should text your father right now. Is be like, why did you tell me about boot disk? What the hell, Dad? What the hell? My life is ruined.
I mean, if that was like the formative bits of the side of my brain that likes Linux, then okay, I'll take it.
Last time you used a floppy drive, like legitimate.
Ooh, legitimate.
Yesterday.
I think it was in secondary school. Yeah, like early 2000s, just because computer class was still a little bit outdated.
I'm actively trying to remember right now, like, what it was. It had to have been 90s, late 90s, to just boot Linux, because Red Hat was like, I want to make a boot CD, like, but that was a default too. I was like, I don't know, do I put it on the hard drive like this? Like, whatever.
Yeah, no, I think it was like early 2000s at some point.
Because even in the mid to late 90s, everything came on optical.
Yeah.
Nice Strider. Hi, empty.
Okay, I need to go make dinner. You guys gonna hang around?
What time is it? As he looks at, no, it's 4:28. It's about time to bounce out of here.
Alrighty then.
All right, beautiful people. We're gonna go.
Hey, everyone.
Have fun.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.